Hi, I'm Annie Botticelli, and in this video I'd like to talk about replenishing and detoxifying with the moon cycles. So maxing out your health protocol by using moon cycles and understanding how they work. So there's two distinct times in the moon cycle. One is the waxing time, which is when the moon is getting bigger. So that's when it starts out as a new moon where you can barely see it in the sky. And as it gets bigger and bigger and bigger every day until you get up to the new moon. And that's about a 2-week period. I mean the full moon. So from the new moon, you barely see it, up to the full moon where it's most bright in the sky. That 2-week period is called the waxing period. Then from the time where it's most full in the sky, where it starts waning or decreasing, where it's melting away until you can barely see it. So from fullness to barely anything is called the waning period. And there are distinct ways that the moon cycle affects us. So you can use these cycles, your understanding of these cycles, to boost your health protocol. So let's talk about baths. If you're using baths for health purposes, there's two reasons why you would do that. One is just for general relaxation, I guess. We're not including that. But one is to replenish, restore, and absorb nutrients and minerals from the bath, whatever you're putting in the bath. The other reason why you would use a bath for health purposes is to draw out, to pull out toxins. So when you use a bath in the waxing time, so when it's going from very little to very big, then you are building and you are actually absorbing more from the bath. So if you're doing a bath like an Epsom salt bath, a sea salt bath, using essential oils, apple cider vinegar baths, which have nutrients in them as well. Apple cider vinegar has a lot of nutrients that you can absorb through the bath water, through your skin. So if you're trying to use the bath for absorptive purposes, you will absorb more of the benefits of what you're bathing in when you do it during the waxing moon. Now, it is important to note if the quality of the water that you're using is questionable, like you have city water that maybe is chlorinated or fluoridated, you might want to avoid taking baths when the moon is waxing or getting bigger, because you'll absorb more of the stuff that's not good from the bath water at that time too. But you'll be a little bit safer from the toxins that are in there if you do it during the waning cycle, because the waning cycle has more of a drawing effect. If you have questionable water, chlorinated, fluoridated, you can put some bentonite clay to help absorb those things, and that can keep the water. It binds to those things and it can help keep the water a little bit safer for you. So timing your replenishing, your building, your drawing nutrients with the waxing cycle. This also is the same for your diet, building through your diet. If you are replenishing and restoring your health, fermented foods, nutrient-dense foods, you want to do it mostly when, not that you don't want to do that all the time, it's fine to do that all the time, but you want to do that most when the moon is getting fuller, because you're absorbing the nutrients from the food more when that happens. And then the other way around, the same. So now once it turns to be the waning moon, this is the time to detox. So now when you take your baths and you're detoxing from the time the moon is after it's reached its fullness, then when it starts marching back down to the waning cycle, through the waning cycle, then you do your detoxing. So if you do Epsom salt bath, sea salt bath, clay baths, ginger baths, baking soda, apple cider vinegar, essential oils, all of these things can help to draw toxins out of your blood, out of your body. The drawing effect will be more. You'll have the most drawing effect the more you're getting into that waning cycle. So from the full moon down to the new moon, it's drawing out. So you can multiply your detoxification effects when you're using detoxification on the waning cycle. And this is the same for cleanses, herb detoxes, anything where you're trying to draw stuff out of your body and release it. You can do that better on the waning cycle of the moon. To enhance the effects of replenishing or detoxing, dry brushing is a fantastic idea, because the more that you have dead skin cells built up on your largest eliminatory and absorption organ, which is your skin, the less you can absorb or detox through your skin, because there's all those dead skin cells in the way. So dry brushing, and you can look this more up online or get a dry brush at a healthcare store or online. And if you keep yourself exfoliated well, then you can maximize the use of your largest eliminatory organ. Some people follow this every month, where for the first couple of weeks of the moon cycle, they're building, replenishing, eating very freely, and then in the waning time, they start to cleanse, they start to be more mindful, they start to detox, and this is just how they're living to keep themselves in balance. Now, I'm not a doctor, so you can't use this information to replace your medical advice and your own intuition about your body. There are certain indications where detoxing is not a good idea, like if you're pregnant or nursing. Any of those things you do can affect the baby. If you're detoxing, you can get toxins in the breast milk, and there are other situations where this actually isn't a good idea. So you really need to time it with what's appropriate for you, your body wisdom, your healthcare practitioner. But if you line up your replenishing and your detoxifying with the moon cycles, it's going to take you much further. So you can see the corresponding blog for this at the link below this video. You can go to my website, anniehelpsyou.com, and that's where you can see more about blogs that I write. And also, I do more videos like this on my channel, anniehelpsyouTV.com or Annie Botticelli. So I hope that this is helpful to you, and happy replenishing and detoxing. Bye.